I like how we're both decided not to wear anything close to what we wore last time.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I was like, no, you're gonna tell the difference between the last video and this one this time. I'm gonna wear a hat. I'm gonna wear a hat.
Nice. Oh yeah, and it's an experimentation one. Like, how much merch have you made? Even like in terms of how many different things do you have with your own logo?
Oh Lord, there's a lot of merch in here. Um,
Yeah, we've been talking like I think for 2 years about making hats or something, and just never get to it for some reason.
cats or cats?
Hats.
Oh,
I don't think you can make cats.
well, well, there are ways.
Okay. Wait, are we recording already for the episode or?
We've been recording for a while, so
Oh, okay. Cool. Do you want me to do an official intro?
sure, why not? You look intro ready.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Oh, can't wait.
Welcome back, everyone, to a podcast series where we answer your questions about CRO and experimentation. And where do these questions come from, you may ask? There's a secret form that Ramil shares in selected places.
That's like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
Um,
but we've gotten so many questions already that but we always want more. So you should Ramil, you should add it to the video descriptions so people can ask questions.
yeah, I don't really publicize it because I put it in one spot and we don't record fast enough to keep up.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, maybe we won't push it. So I wasn't. I used to promote it a bit, and now it's like, okay, I still get a two, three, four, five, six every now and then.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'll post it in the comments and in some other places so others can ask us some of the exact same questions that others have asked.
Yeah.
And
A
that's the
lot of
thing, eh?
questions about AI. Yeah.
AI. Have you done any more AIing since we last chatted?
Uh just the usual amount. Yeah. I'm about to do like a webinar I think next week with some
Oh, nice.
people about like AI specific, and I'm like trying to come up with stories and things that it has been useful for in my own work, but I'm still more on the skeptical side, I would say, even though I use it like every day. But
I built uh, I built my job board in AI in Lovable actually.
how long did it take you?
To get a board up, seconds. To get a working board up, few days. To get a working board that didn't break all the time, about a couple of weeks. Because I'm learning many things about AI and building with it. Lots of things. One day I'll write a post on it, but it likes to destroy itself, is what I'll say.
Mm,
It goes, you know what?
mm-hmm,
All this good stuff, fuck it. Let's wipe it clean and start over. And you're like, why? Um, and and the more complicated the thing you build, the worse it remembers what it did because it can't remember that well. So you force it to take its own notes, and it still ignores it, and you're just like, just hitting your head like this worked not too long ago. Um,
mm-hmm,
so yeah, I it's great that it builds things quickly, um, but you're constantly checking if it's working. Like we just fixed this thing. Did it just destroy the last thing I built? You're constantly doing regression, constantly. Um, so if you're,
well,
if you're in
that's
the
kind
AI space,
of sorry. I cut you off.
no, 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 go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's the perfect segue into our first question, which is basically how far can AI help in delivering CRO?
Oh,
Which
it could
is
go
like,
pretty far. It, look,
okay.
I've said before, as long as like your standards are loose, it's great. If you have a partner and they're in the grocery store and it says, "What should we pick up?" and you say, "Pick up some fruit." Yeah, yeah, that's easy to satisfy. But once you want to get a specific brand of this, a particular weight, it gets harder. And it's the same thing with AI. If you want a specific output performing a specific way, it gets dumb fast. You have to get very specific with it. And I have scolded AI more than once, and I feel like a school teacher or whatever. It's like, this is unacceptable. Please check your work before submitting to me. And I'm like, how am I scolding? I'm paying for this service.
Mm.
I'm scolding the computer. Um,
Yeah, my thing is that, there's so first of all, first thought, the stuff that you were speaking about right now, like building your job board and whatever, which is super cool. But isn't that more like product development? Like it's not, super CRO experimentation related? As soon as you kind of like try to dissect those things and peel the layers back, you're like, okay, but like, is it necessary? One, and two, like, how are you actually doing it? Which like
yeah,
people don't usually elaborate on. And that is also reflected on a lot of these questions that we get and that I see in other Slack groups as well from experimentation people directly. Is like, how do I actually use this thing for experimentation? Like the main overarching question is still like,
yeah.
what do I do with this for experimentation? Which
You
is
could do a lot.
interesting to me.
You're just doing it carefully. I don't know if I'd have a full agent workflow. You can. It's not rocket science per se. Run stats, pull data, blah blah blah. But often at times these things write spaghetti code, and you're doing a lot of trust. Because like one of the things I ran into, especially particularly with Lovable, I don't want to disparage them because they're very famous right now. Um, but they often have this arbitrary 1,000 row limit on SQL. It's like they just won't pull more than 1,000 rows, and it keeps running into that. And unless you constantly remember it does that, you can't work around it. It will limit itself in terms of how much data it pulls. So imagine if it has a that kind of limitation and it's failing quietly on you. How do you know there's a problem? How do you know it got all there's no unless you built these things very rigorously and you're checking it, spot checking it constantly, how do you know it's even taken all your data into account? It's like you kind of have to trust it, and that's where I think a lot of the problems are. I know that wasn't really grammatically correct. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it?
Um yeah, I also have trust issues, and like whenever I see somebody, I mean, yeah, that we totally both sound like broken records, but at the same time, I think it needs to be said and reiterated. Like, if somebody is promising you this magic bullet that, this robot will do all your work and you don't have to think or do anything, it's probably a scam, especially if they ask money for it.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
think
and
you'll
a
get
lot of
there.
the
I do think you'll get
maybe
there.
maybe, but like a lot of the work, at least the kind of work that I do is not like repeatable. It's more creative.
Yeah,
And I can
I
totally see
agree.
the application being for really, really big agencies with like, 1,000 people where there's more of like this line work and tasks that do make sense for automation, or kind of like to offload it from your employees so they can do more of the creative strategy. But as a very small agency where the direct value for our clients is like working with us as humans and our
Yeah,
brains, it's like it's not that much where I feel that I can confidently outsource to AI.
yeah. It's not. It's creative, but it's not the best creative.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a junior creative. Like write me copy. I mean, it's okay, not bad, grammatically better than what I wrote, but it also lacks stuff. I don't know,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, and that
I think it's going to get there. I think give it 5, 10 years, maybe less. I don't know. It
mhm.
has to get better.
Yeah. And the main value for me in using those tools is also just like I would categorize it as refining my own thinking,
Yeah,
instead of just, dumping my ideas on
Yeah,
at a meeting or whatever, I can go to AI and kind of like refine my thinking and, have a soundboard, but I'm never going to take what it spits out and like present that as is.
yeah. It's really good. It's kind of evaluating what you give it and have it reflect. Oh, there's a gap here, or this is an area you haven't thought of, and like, oh yeah, that's true. I haven't thought of this. So it's really good at that. But some its suggestions are they're okay.
Yeah.
Or the other thing that I've learned is that if you're using it for CRO work, is that it tries to make you happy if you're not careful. So I actually have a prompt uh, with ChatGPT about don't worry about my feelings, give it to me straight. Um, it's okay if you hurt my feeling, and it's a little bit better. But
Mhm.
otherwise, it's just always trying to say things that I've said in the past or things that make me happy, and that just doesn't help creativity
Mhm.
or experimentation really.
Yeah, I think there are settings now too, at least in ChatGPT, where you can like select a tone or like how you want
Yeah,
it to present, like super
but I have trust
supportive or
issues.
not. Yeah,
Do I trust that? No, I don't.
totally.
Hi, this is Romo Santiago from Experiment Nation. If you'd like to connect with hundreds of experimenters from around the world, consider joining our Slack channel. You can find the link in the description. Now back to the episode.
Next one is how do experimentation experts do MDE estimation for continuous metrics like average revenue per user?
This is where
Thoughts?
um I'm sure what my thoughts are wrong from a strict per I no, even if I read it out of a textbook, someone's gonna tell me I'm wrong. I've been in the space long enough, that
That's okay.
no matter what I say, it'll be wrong. What I tend to do is I tend to look at a time period, that's representative of the population in some way and look at that, try to figure out what is the kind of baseline number, and as it bounces around, what that noise level number is. So we are talking about MDE, right?
Mhm.
um, from there, I could kind of guesstimate what MDE would be a good signal. Like it has to be this much.
Mhm.
So that's one way. The other way I go about it is, um, what's the MDE? This is typically what I go with actually. What's the percentage that I care about? That's straight up. That's all I say. I don't care if float or count or whatever. Um, I often go, well, what change is important to you, and that's what we'll measure for. Um,
Mhm.
I'm sure you have a better answer than that, though.
Um, yeah, it does come up somewhat regularly. Um, so first of all, there is a calculator, an analytics toolkit that specifically
Hmm.
can calculate that if you're interested in that. But the general approach we take with our clients is that we try to focus more on binary metrics.
Hmm.
Or encourage them to focus on binary metrics because revenue metrics they are a huge can of worms.
Yeah,
There's a lot more variability. And
true.
at the end of the day, what we're trying to figure out with these experiments is like, did we influence user behavior or not? So we're trying to measure, did a user take this action or did they not take this action? So it's like, for example, testing with upsells, you just see if they add it to the cart or not.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then
that's
that's your math is nicer too, right? You don't need as much
yeah.
sample. Um, your distribution on is like, what's it called? Some binomial or something. So it's even simpler math from a distribution perspective. Um, yeah, I think if you're able to get them to a yes no, it's everyone's life's easier, and more calculators actually support it.
Mhm.
If you're looking at revenue, I would say very few calculators actually support it because it's a hairy thing, and you need to
Mhm.
know a little bit more about the data to estimate things. But
Mhm.
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think the kind of like the crux of the issue or the logical fallacy that you might fall into is that you think that revenue metrics are more like precise or something, but then in reality it's like the variables influencing the revenue
Yeah.
especially if you have a lot of different products with different, price tags and whatever. It's like, as I said, like a huge can of worms. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, how many of the things did they buy? Did they buy
mm,
one outlier product? Did they buy a lot of small things? And it just kind of messes up all that. Obviously, you're looking at all of these things together.
mhm.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, cool. We're flying through these questions today.
Are we
Um,
though?
okay, this is a good one. I don't have an answer for that. How are you making the most of your research time when there doesn't feel like there's much time to do anything?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. There's a basically the question is, how do you do the things when you don't have time to do the things?
Yeah.
Uh, make time to do the things. I don't know. I guess.
Yeah,
Unless
I constantly feel every day that like I am behind at every single task that I have to do. Okay, you froze up. Can you hear me? Nope. You're back.
that's fun. Yeah, I'm having connection issues. But I totally agree with what you just said.
Good.
I'm sure whatever you said was poignant and on the mark, and I can't dispute anything you said. What did you say?
Uh, I just said that I'm struggling with the same thing and I don't have a good answer for it. I feel every day
Totally
of my life that I'm behind on tasks.
agree. This is about research, yeah.
Yeah, how do you find the time to do it when you're already so busy with everything else?
How do you define research in this question? I guess is the question. Is the question
Uh, good
customer
question.
research? Talking about industry research. What the
I'm
hell
gonna
is-
guess customer research because that's
You
usually
don't need
in
it.
my yeah, in my experience the thing that kind of gets left behind because everybody just wants to do things, and customer research costs money and takes a lot of time to collect and analyze and all that. So,
Um, I think I try to take enough time to get some sort of data saturation on it. Um, like if you're talking to customers, like if you're not seeing the same themes anymore. Sorry, if you're not seeing new themes anymore coming up in your research, you might have hit a point where you can go, okay, well, maybe I've hit that point of saturation. It won't tell you what is important and what's not important. It just says you've surfaced all the things that matter. Um, so I think you're going to have to do that, or else the rest of the work is going to be based on half information. So
yeah.
it's like prioritizing, right? Like what's the point of running an A/B test if you don't actually know what the root cause issues are? Um,
Yeah, and also maybe just like clearly defining roles that, somebody's job is to do research also. That it's not like some secondary, oh, we'll just do it whenever we have time or
yeah,
remember that it exists. It's like, no, somebody's job in the organization is to consistently do research.
yeah. So you mean delegate? Is that the answer?
Sort of. Maybe I'm more just like define roles and responsibilities more clearly, which is also hard. Um, and everybody struggles with.
I'm okay with it. You can do it.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
positive Rommel today.
Oh, sorry. I meant we're screwed. Who cares?
Okay, next one. You will love this question. When applying to a CRO role, how do you handle it when they ask you to audit their site as part of the
Oh my
interview
god.
process?
Did we talk about this before on camera?
No, I think it must have been off camera one time while you were going through it.
Yeah, I was in an interview process with a place here in Toronto. Things are going well. It's progressing well, and part of the final round was to present 30 minutes of how to improve their website. Um, the way I handled it with was I tried to be kind. I phrased it as for I can't remember the exact way I phrased it, but I was happy to perform work for the final round to audit the site. Just a heads up that other candidates might be uncomfortable with what could be considered spec work or free work. Um, just as a heads up, I said that. Within I think 20 seconds, I was dropped from the interview process. Like within seconds, and I wrote back going, "Interesting. I was willing to do it. What changed your mind?" And it was, well, other candidates were proactively audited our site and gave us ideas. I wanted to give you the opportunity to do the same. And I said, well, thanks and no thanks, because I'm like, come on, that's ridiculous. Um, Now, mind you, if you're in desperate times, sometimes you're going to have to do it. But no, that's kind of like that's free work, right? And they, a lot of employers these days, I've seen it, will just grill you for information on how they can improve and then not hire anyone. Like they're fake jobs or fake whatever. So just be mindful of that. Know what you're getting into. That if you were to do a little bit of an audit, you may not hear them forget. It's like a one night stand or something. It's just they'll take and go. So I don't like that situation, but it's also telling of the culture, right? Any employer worth their salt knows that's a bad move. So that kind of tells you the kind of place that you're trying to join. But everyone's a grown up.
Yeah, I've seen some people advocate for like actually paying people for doing these audits, even if they
Yeah,
don't get chosen for the job. I don't know if that actually in reality happens anywhere. I haven't heard of it. Um,
not that I know of.
yeah, and it like obviously it sucks like, having to go through this process and do a bunch of free work and then if you don't even get the job, right? And there's a spectrum too. Like, I've heard that there are companies that put you through like, I don't know, 9 rounds of this, right? Plus interviews and whatever. To me, it's only happened like one time. It wasn't too bad. And it was also funny because the company was like, they actively tried to recruit me, but then I still had to go through all the hoops of,
Yeah.
interviews and
Oh yes.
doing this homework.
Hmm.
And then the funniest part to me about it was that they told me like, "Hey, here's the task," and it wasn't hard or anything, and they just put this arbitrary time commitment on it. It's like it shouldn't take you more than just like a couple of hours. Like we don't expect like anything more. Like presenting themselves as kind of like this reasonable party.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then like from my perspective, it's like, sure, I can do it in like an hour or so, but I also take this work seriously and I want to do my best. So probably it's going to take me at least 6 to 8 hours because I'm going to put like thought into it and do the best that I can because that's how I work. So I don't want to like do some like subpar performance here. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like this thing that employers should think about. Like, even if you think that it shouldn't take a person more than, an hour or two, like, if that person is a good person for the job, they probably want to go above and beyond and still, put their time and effort into it. So it's not like an equal relationship in that sense. Okay, kind of a related question with recruitment. How do you approach CRO and volume recruitment? And I think that means like you quickly need to hire a bunch of people for the same role or something.
Oh,
Or but
you
yeah,
can change.
you've done more hiring, I think. So have you ever hired like lots of people at once? How do you approach that?
Marketing roles. Um, Nothing really changes. I don't change the standards. I don't change. Um, I just have a whole lot more meetings. and more candidates come into the office. That's
Mm.
usually when I'm hiring, it is my number one job. I drop almost everything else to get people in because the sooner they're in and onboarded, the faster we can go in the long term.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, does it change anything? No, not really for me. I think actually there's a benefit to being able to contrast people a little bit better. Memory's a little better on the other different candidates, and it's nicer to know you can hire for different kinds of people. It's like I don't have to have a copy of me, and you never want a copy of me, but something complementary is always good. So I think that's actually a nice situation to have. But no, not much changes for me. And what do you folks? I don't know. Do you hire a lot?
Fun fact, my first real job was sales at a recruitment agency.
Hmm.
Um, so, but like, it was never really my experience that we needed a bunch of people for a similar role at the same time. It was more that there was a bunch of people wanting the same role, and you need to
Yeah.
differentiate between them and stuff. So, yeah, I imagine this question comes more from like an enterprise level company
Right.
or a very large agency.
I want to know what that agency is because I don't see a whole lot of volume for hires these days. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess like I've been in a bigger agency where like people needed to come in for the similar role as I had at the same time, and the challenge
Mhm.
is always the onboarding and the
Yeah.
like getting people up to speed.
Yeah.
Because if you have one new person, that's like a big thing. Like you need to really show them the ropes and be there for them. And I think there are studies even that say that for any new person at a new work environment, it takes about like 6 months to get fully up to speed and start like producing value for the
6
company.
months.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
And I mean,
I wish I had that information in my last few roles where it was like after 30 days, get going. Not even 30 days.
yeah, that's the general kind of how most companies want to operate, but it's not super realistic. Like, can you honestly say that after 30 days at a new place, you knew everything that you were doing, you were supposed
Oh
to be
no, no,
doing, creating a lot of value? Like, no, right?
of
It
course
takes
not.
it takes a while.
Even identifying the actual problem that's
Yeah.
causing all the grief sometimes takes longer
Hmm.
than that. Because if you can do that within 30 days, then well, you didn't need me.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, finding the right people to work with, it's a challenge for sure.
So you just say work with your partner. That's basically you copped out.
Um, Yeah, if you meet through work, then it can be a life hack for sure. But
Okay,
most people that I meet, they're like, oh, like I could never do that. So I don't know. To each their own, I guess.
that's fair.
Okay. How do I get out of the ROI endless loop when talking about experimentation with stakeholders? I have decided to stop using the word CRO as it is too connoted.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
it is related to
Uh, thoughts?
ROI. Always comes up for me, no matter what. How do I get out of it? Show the ROI.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
my answer is the same that in any business environment you cannot get around talking
yeah.
about ROI. Like
Especially
it's just not a thing.
this field, more often than not, you weren't hired to learn more about the customer, not directly. You're part of it.
Mhm.
You add to that knowledge, but specifically you are hired for ROI usually, and maybe it's broad strokes.
Mhm.
But I don't know how what agencies are going. I'm going to hire a CRO so that I can learn more about the customer, um, or run tests for learnings, or fail faster. No, they want they some
Distinguished professional.
made a projection that they'll double triple x conversion if they hire a CRO, and that person was hired based on that assumption, and now someone in finance is going, well, I want to see that result at the end of the year, or this headcount doesn't make sense. So yeah, how do you get away with it? Show the ROI. If you can't show the ROI, you got to dance. Um, Maybe that's too jaded an answer. It's all about the learnings.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's basically one of those things again where practitioners in the field, I don't know, try to always talk about the learnings and like focus on all these, fun things when the rest of the business is like after the bottom line. It's like
It's
we can't
the
get
learnings
around it.
make sense. Like they do make sense to find learnings, but I have yet to find an exact. Okay, maybe one in 1,000. No, that's a lot. One in 100 learnings is truly interesting to exact levels. But the rest of the learnings, like, okay, that didn't work. Find the thing that works.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
okay,
and the learnings are also more useful for just prioritization and understanding where you need to focus
yeah,
rather than just for the learning sake of itself, I guess.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of helps you in the direction, but again, the senior person doesn't care. Like, oh, you're not going to focus on this part of the page. You're going to focus on that. Okay, show me the ROI,
Hmm.
uh, but focus on the learnings. So, wow, went salty fast. But I know I think that it also depends on the situation. Like, what are you an agency? Then the ROI is definitely on your head. I think if
Hmm.
you're a lower CRO, the pressure is not as strong, especially if you're shielded with leadership. Um, but if you run the show, ROI is on your head. So something to keep in mind. Sorry, buddy,
Hmm.
can't get away with it.
Okay, next one. Why do some CRO agencies not have designers in the team?
Um, AI, isn't that the answer? Isn't that the answer? I'm gonna design me a good thing. Is
Mm.
I could see you're agreeing with me. Shocking.
Um, Personally, I have yet to see a company that has fired all their designers for AI, but I'm sure it's happening somewhere. Um,
I haven't seen that
I
either.
think, I mean, we don't like, we are a small agency. We don't have a dedicated designer. Like, I do a fair amount of it, but like, usually, one thing is that the clients that we work with are kind of bigger and they have their own designers in house.
Yeah,
So they
with all
usually like
standards and stuff.
aren't, yeah, are involved in the process. The other thing is that often with testing, you can work with existing elements and you don't need new designs. Like if you're testing copy or moving things around or, borrowing elements from the rest of the site, like it's just not necessary to have designers, part of the agency all the time. But it's definitely nice when you do have somebody.
I think that usually is it true? I think it's true the last handful of places I've been at where they underhire on design
Oh,
deliberately.
yeah, for sure.
So it's underhired so they don't have to get rid of them. It's
Mm.
overworked already. Um, yeah, I can't. I don't think we're going to see a lot of designers let go for AI because there weren't many hired in the first place.
Oh, that's so true.
Productivity.
Yeah.
Okay, have you thought of an intro? Have you thought of an outro?
No, outros are the hardest. That's kind of, I was listening through our last episode where we're talking about the making butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any butter around me, but what was the other thing you said? Okay, I gotta go get some cookies in the oven. Like I gotta go. Sorry. I don't have
Oh,
any more
so
time
yeah,
to answer these questions.
Um, I gotta take a phone call, so we're gonna end. We're gonna be here. I'm gonna pick it up next time. So it's great talking to you, and I gotta take this call.
Okay.
Yeah.
See ya.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Our new book, Prove It or Lose It, the mostly no-nonsense guide to surviving experimentation program drama is out now. Find it at experimentation.com and all major bookstores today.